And there it is. Look, you hit the button.
Hit it.
You hit the button. It's hit. Okay. And now we'll hear from the AV Lab.
I ain't got Freeze's radio voice. I definitely don't belong in front of a camera.
It is what it is. Just tell them what you do.
The AV Lab is an affordable media company that specializes in professional video and audio production. Do you need equipment or trained professionals for your next project? Well, we serve many people, including businesses, organizations, athletes, and musicians. With years of experience in the conference room and on the sidelines, the AV Lab can get you noticed and help you reach for your goals.
Will you finish this? Just give them the number.
Call the AV Lab today at 314-722-8522 and learn how we can help with your corporate videos, business conferences and events, highlight reels, and much, much more. Call 314-722-8522 today.
Well. Hello and welcome to another less than special episode of Tweaked Geeks. And I say less than special because Phil is not here. He's not here, and like I'm in charge of things, and that's going to be a nightmare for everybody involved. It's going to be some crazy stuff, but nonetheless, I am going to do the absolute best I can. That basically is my way of saying I still promise nothing. But nonetheless, I'm going to do it, and I've got a little bit of help. Everybody say hello to the very special Krystol Williams.
Hi.
Of It Is What It Is, right here in the studio with us. And I said us. You know what that means? It means that there's more than other people's here. In the studio today, we are graced with the presence of the big, the bold, the purveyor of the AV Lab, Jeffrey Fro Shepperd. How are you today, Jeff?
Not too bad, man. Thanks for having me out.
Oh, all right. Awesome. Now, I wanted to get you on last week's episode, and of course, you know, I'm like texting and whatnot. And I guess you broke up with me. That's what I said. I said that on Facebook too. I made it Facebook official.
See, if I'd have known, I'd have checked Facebook.
You broke up. Yeah, right. Because you never check it.
I'm pretty bad about
Ever.
it. And when I get on there, I get really annoyed by what's on there. And, you know, every white person saying that the world's racist against them, every black person saying the world's racist against them, and they're all going to change the world through a Facebook status.
Wow. Well, we just dive into it. All right, folks. Been on. We are now in minute 3. And Jeffrey dives us right into it. Wonderful stuff. Now, I wanted to have you out because I wanted to talk about the AV Lab. And this is tech stuff. This is you do some pretty tech intensive stuff. So I want to hear about it. I want to understand it. I give it to me.
Gotcha.
So
we're just getting into the area here, and I bought a bunch of equipment over my time throughout school, doing a lot of radio, television production. That's what my degree is in, and then actually working on some master's work in documentary filmmaking. I bought quite a bit of equipment. We got a 20,000 watt rig, for instance, for a PA, so we can blow up some pretty cool audio stuff.
Nice.
Got a couple different cameras to come out and do some live video, and my goal really is to make sure that equipment doesn't just sit around and waste. I like to do work for companies, obviously. They've got money. I like to do work for other artists who are looking to make their projects come to life. And I also like to do a lot of community-based work, whether it's organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, school districts, and give them opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have because of the money involved in it all.
Right.
They can't go out, obviously, maybe and buy a brand new PA system. And in my experience, a lot of them need help.
Now, I've seen your gear. I've seen your gear. You've got some pretty heavy duty stuff. You've got some stuff. I feel kind of jealous. I love it. Tell me about how the technical innovations with that have allowed you to expand the things that you do.
Some of the stuff, I mean, it's just it's a cost thing, obviously. So I've bought a lot of audio stuff. I found that when you're talking about technological innovations, one of the biggest things I've tried to stay away from was cameras.
Right.
So I've got an older HD camera and I've got a new DSLR. But for a lot of projects, we'll go out and we'll rent cameras for people. So we're not buying something and having it go bad the next day, basically, or having a new item come out the next day. But one of the other goals is to get out there and teach people about not only how to use their equipment, but even be able to take some of this equipment into the community and show people on my own equipment how to use it and how to find something that keeps them in school, finds them that's the biggest thing I found about doing audio video production. It was like it kept me motivated for school, got me through a bachelor's degree because I'm out shooting sports every other night. And you get kicked off a football team because you don't get good grades. Well, you still like football,
right?
And you want to get out there and film it and be a part of it. And sports production's really big to me, just from the simple fact that there's a lot of people that are quote unquote at risk students and at risk communities that could get out there and do some of this and find a lot of enjoyment out of it and learn a lot from it.
Nice. And so you're talking about actually going out and teaching people how to kind of do these things for themselves.
Do it for themselves. And like I say, I mentioned schools a lot. Schools are a big place where I'd like to hit, especially in the metro community area here, if that's even a word, metro community area.
We'll make it one today.
It is now.
Yeah, we'll make it one today.
But there's a lot of schools out here that don't have the budget to do their own live sports, for instance. And there's a lot of money that can be made in live sports, even in these small communities, because people want to get out there. They want to put their name on something. You might be a small company or business inside of a small community, but if you're out there even putting these games, whether it's football, volleyball, basketball, on the air, then you have an outlet to get some sponsorship and build some money, not only for the AV lab. I mean, I'm not all about capitalism, but it does help to be able to eat at night. But but it's also nice to bring some money back to the community and put some in the school's pocket.
Nice.
So
nice.
I know that the sports thing is important, but even simple things as small as like a parents' night at the school, where they don't have the equipment to be able to project their voices over 100 children talking at once.
Sounds like you have some experience with that.
I was about to ask.
Yeah. I attended parents' night the other night at my kids' school, and their audio was just, the kids, aside from the fact that there was just absolutely no organization, just speaking on an audio video aspect, it was terrible. I couldn't understand what the principal was saying, trying to hear her over the children and the parents.
Okay, so wait, did the parents have microphones or did they not?
No.
Okay, should they have had?
No.
Okay, well, I'm just asking. I was clarifying.
No. It was just very loud in the
okay.
auditorium, and you couldn't hear the speaker over all of the people. Just the microphone was terrible. Like it. I'm gonna make this sound really bad.
This is what it sounded like when she's talking, and I couldn't really understand what she's saying.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. Okay, like I couldn't understand what she was saying.
I thought I was at a rap concert.
Yeah, I know, right? But just simple things like that. That's something you can help with, right?
Yeah, definitely. We work with schools. We want to get, because a lot of the equipment they have is older. Sometimes they have problems with that equipment, and they end up going to a backup, which obviously if their first set of stuff is bad, their backup is really bad.
It's going to be exponentially worse. Yes.
So yeah, I actually talked to the principal at that school, and hopefully we'll see some ways of helping them in the future. And it's a small school. They don't have budgets for stuff like that. They can't go and say, hey, we need you for one night. We want to rent your equipment. We want to do this. We want to do that. It's like, well, with most companies.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm new to the area. I am looking to, do some of my own creative work. I am looking to do some money-making work. And I'm looking to do some, just some freelance, some pro bono type work where, something that might cost somebody with money $300-400 a night, it might cost a school $100 a night.
Right, I got you.
I mean, it make it worth my time, but and effort, because if these speakers, when you carry 16 of them around,
I carried the one, and I had no. I wasn't going to give it back, not because I wanted to take it, but just because it was so heavy.
And that's another thing. I mean, there's DJs out there like you. I've seen your setup, but that have smaller gear because they've got lights to go with it. They've got computers and everything else they're hauling around.
And not a lot of space to move it with.
And if you have a bigger reception hall, you're going to need more speakers.
Right.
So that's something I always look into, trying to find DJs, trying to find other people to work with, videographers and other businesses where I can do freelance stuff with my equipment, with their equipment, who's ever. And I know it is what it is. And this show, for instance, I'm going to leave equipment out of all this.
See, I'm having some computer issues right now. I'm needing to work all that out.
Gotcha.
I'm going to get it done.
And this extends past schools, too. Last night, for instance, I was in a house of worship, and we were looking at their system.
Right.
And we were talking about different ways to set up their speakers and how to, they were getting complaints from different parishioners, I guess they would be called. Mm-hmm. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I guess.
Members.
The congregation?
The congregation.
There we go.
The people that come and listen to the
different members of the congregation.
Yeah. But they were getting complaints about the audio. So I was called over, hey, can you take a look at our audio? Do we need to buy new equipment? Do we need to do something with our speaker placement? And basically just a consultation. I spent a couple hours over there talking to them, had a real good time, meet good people. And, a lot of places have the equipment that they need. They just don't know how to use their equipment.
Gotcha. So it's not even so much about you just showing up and saying, okay, here, I've got this stuff and we'll make it work. And then they're left on their own. You walk them through being able to do what they need to be able to do and kind of autonomize that process for them.
Another example, a good example is there's a library, a small library here in the area, Southern Illinois. Right. And I've talked to them. They had a new director get put in place. And they had all kinds of money to buy all this new technology, and they've got 2 3D printers in a community that's probably 2,500 people.
Wow!
Like, you don't even have a company in this community that has a 3D printer, but this library has 2, and it's like, well, we need ideas on how to use it, and we also need to know how to use it.
Right.
So it extends past just audio video. I've got some graphic experience in my background and media creation in general, and then a little bit of IT in my background, which allows me to talk to them about what they can do with their computers. I might not be able to do it myself, but I can put them in the right direction.
Gotcha.
Just an all-around consultation.
Now, you were talking about media creation, and a while back, I took a look at the documentary that you had on the MMA fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me about that. Tell me where people can find that.
There's a couple things on YouTube. You can just do a simple YouTube search for the AV Lab, and there's some older work up there from probably around 2013, somewhere in there, a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
There was an MMA fighter from the Peoria area,
right.
Which is originally where I'm from. And I went back up there and talked to him about fighting in amateur fights and the risks that are involved. Obviously, you don't have some of the same security that you would in a professional fight where you're getting paid and, you've got all these nurses and doctors on hand and, some of the risks, like I say, some of the risks involved.
You're really kind of at a gutter level of things.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and we did a small documentary. I think it's about 5 minutes long.
Nice.
Go with him to do some training.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the pre-fight stuff where you see all the fighters and they're signing all their documents that are waivers and stuff like that. And then we get to the actual fight, and it was pretty fun to shoot. It's a buddy of mine from back in the day.
I almost want to do a spoiler alert and ask if he won the fight, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We're going to let people actually watch it. And
there's a really cool video also under the same subscription that's to a World War II veteran. He was an African American World War II veteran, and before Vietnam and Korea, we didn't send a whole lot of African Americans anywhere to fight in a war. We didn't believe in it as America. It was still racist times, obviously.
Right.
And this guy, he was awesome to talk to. His son runs a museum over in Carbondale called the African American Museum of Southern Illinois.
Right.
And had a really good time doing that one. Not only talking to Lloyd McDaniel, who was the veteran, but also we got access to over 30 hours of World War II footage from an organization up in Wisconsin, public station, and we were able to take and use some of that for B-roll and place however we wanted, and it was really a cool video. Nice.
And that's going to be in the same YouTube channel?
Yeah, same YouTube channel.
All right, so those of you who are listening, you want to see shining examples of what the AV Lab can do, okay, just pop on YouTube, search the AV Lab. There's a couple of videos there. Check it out. It's going to be good stuff. Fro, I want you to tell me now. I know you hear that. You hear that whine. You hear that.
Yep.
I need that gone.
Well, that would be a gate. Would probably help.
I have a gate.
Yeah. Because to me it sounds like your microphones are on all the time.
Yes.
And
yes, I have no gating.
Yeah. At
right.
a certain.
I have no gating on as of now.
So, as a consultant, I would say,
yes,
I would say you'd want to find a way to gate that to where the microphone only comes on when somebody speaks into it.
Gotcha.
That the microphone knows that this is a bass level noise at a certain volume,
yeah,
and then over top of that is obviously somebody talking, and that's when that gate will click on and off.
Gotcha. And I've got one over here. I need more cables.
Yeah,
is what I need to make that work. I was planning
and
for that
and that's one of the things. Like I say, people have the equipment a lot of times. They just need to know certain simple things,
like where to get
sometimes
cables.
Sometimes it's more advanced. Yesterday, like I said, we were at a house of worship, and I was basically showing them. They had a 4-channel board there, and it was just showing them the basics of an EQ. And how to EQ one channel at a time, and
right.
because they were like, well, we get this sound and then we change it and lose all the sound. And Krystol, do you want to say something?
I was just going to ask, for those of us who don't know what that means, could you explain it?
Explain
the EQ.
Yes.
It's equalizing.
Oh,
so
okay,
if you're talking real deep like this, and sometimes it's hard for people to understand. You want to bring the voice up here. Or up here, and it all depends.
Basically,
yeah.
I think here we could try it this way. Here's what we're gonna do. So, Fro, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna manipulate my voice, and I know that you know what I'm doing. So as I'm doing it, I want you to explain what it is that I'm actually doing with my voice while I'm doing it.
So there, you took the bass out. It sounds like.
Yes, and
you can really hear the higher pitch.
Right.
And there it looks like you're taking you can hear a little more air there, so it sounds like it's a higher pitch.
Yeah.
You might be putting more treble, or you might be taking the mids out.
Right. Actually, you're partially on. I've driven my mids pretty much through the roof.
Yeah.
I've dropped my top end, but I'm only using a 3-band parametric EQ,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the difference. And here's where the nerd stuff comes in. Yeah, Phil,
And
I
when,
got you.
And when he says 3-band EQ, I mean, everybody's seen a 2-band EQ, I guarantee, on your car stereo.
Right.
You can adjust the bass and you can adjust the treble.
Right.
And what that's doing is it's taking the wave frequency and it's boosting it or lowering it based on where the wave is in that frequency.
Right. And a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with like recording software, mixing boards, things like what we deal with in our different crafts, you'll actually be able to see the measurement or the degree, either in decibels or percentage, as far as what is being raised or lowered.
Yeah.
And a lot of people play with that. One of the big problems that I have is when I record, it sounds great down here, and then I'll hear it at your house, and it's not what I wanted.
Right.
So,
And that's because there's so many other things going on. You might have it going into your computer great and coming out of the speakers great, but you might have those speakers set up differently. You might have an EQ sitting on your computer that you're not noticing. And that is... Mastering songs is probably one of the most difficult things that we will get into, and he's taking my voice away there. And but that's why people get paid so much. You talk to people about studio time, and you hear some outlandish number, just like with videography, and you just like, oh my God, you want to charge us that much? It's like, well, it is a lot of work, and it is a lot of hours that go into that.
Right, because it's not just the recording the day up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, they'll look and they say, okay, well, an event is, say, 3 hours.
Right.
So you have to record 3 hours worth of video.
Right.
And then,
plus you have to set up. Plus you have to break down.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that it's just 3 hours of video. You're talking about 3 hours of video from every camera involved.
Right.
So, and then getting through that, editing it all, syncing it all together, and then, of course, adding the audio element.
And if you got 2 or 3 cameras, depending on what you're using to record, whether it's tape, whether it's a solid state, which is cards now, if you got 3 hours worth of tape, you're going to sit there for 3 hours waiting for that tape to convert over to your machine to a digital form.
Right.
Go ahead, Krystol.
I just have a couple of questions because that brings up other things. Do you do anything with music?
A little bit. I'd like to do more live stuff. Right now, I've got a lot of equipment. To mic a live band, though, it takes quite a few microphones, and I would say I'd need probably 5 to 7 more microphones to get in there and mic drums, get all the backup singers. But
what he's saying is, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it right.
Right.
But
and some of that, I mean, I can do. And that's where we get into the whole, I've got this much equipment. This is what I would charge to do it because I have to rent a couple things. And
how about if someone just wanted to come in and, record a demo or something?
I guess maybe pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you do pre-production? Like, do you write at home?
Do you write music?
Yeah. That's what got me started in it.
Nice.
That's what got me started on everything, really, video-wise, even because it all translates.
Nice.
So back in, we won't get into my age here, but back around 2000, we started making music on some of the first non-linear software out there, and what non-linear means is it's editing with your computer, as opposed to what it used to be where it was tape to tape and reel to reel.
Right.
So some of those first companies were Sonic Foundry. You had SoundForge and Acid.
Yes.
It was some of the first sequencers that were out there, like the Fruity Loops
I played around a lot with Sony Vegas.
Yeah.
And I liked it because it was a video editor, but because I wasn't working with much video, I just used the audio side of it, and because it was a workhorse program that was basically built to run on absolute crap hardware, it was right up my alley. And I worked with that for quite a bit.
And then we worked with that for a few years, and I went back to school in about 2003, and I started studying multimedia So I was making media with the computer, whether it was presentations through a program called Director at the time, which was made by a company called Macromedia, and Adobe actually bought Macromedia, and now they've scaled it back a little bit. Director is actually not available anymore.
Oh, wow.
But Flash is, and Flash can do basically the same things that Director was doing on a different scale.
So I know you do a lot of, video work and things of that nature. If, say, for instance, someone didn't have the money to hire someone to film their wedding, would you be willing and able to just do the editing for them?
Right. We can do anything from front end to back end, pre-production to production to post. So we can help you. We can. That pre-production is kind of that consulting. It says, hey, how many cameras do you need? How many microphones do you need? Where are you going to be moving from and to? If we take a wedding, for example, do you want stuff at the reception? How do you want the reception shot? How many cameras do you want? And so, I can come in and talk to you about that and then give you names of people besides myself who to call and set up some of this stuff, because I have a real good friend over in St. Louis that does a lot of wedding stuff, for instance, who I do freelance work with. We can do the production itself. We can say, here's what we're needing. Obviously, you do the planning, the pre-production side of it. You come in, you bring your cameras, however many you need, and then move on to the edit after that.
So what if, say I was getting married like in a week or whatever, and, I'm poor, so I can't hire someone to do my video. So I've got all my friends with their camera phones and all that stuff, and everybody's shooting video from all over the place. And then I got all of these videos together. Okay, could you make me a decent wedding video from that?
Probably not. I could edit a decent video, but it doesn't mean that you're friends with their cameras.
Well, right,
hand.
but would you be able to, kind of put it together in some sort of...
Definitely.
Could you put together the best Vine ever? Right.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm asking.
That's what
8 seconds.
That's what nonlinear editing is all about. It's about taking pictures, music, and video and putting it all together into one sequence on the computer, and then shooting that sequence out and being able to publish it right to the web or to DVD.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
That's and that's being able to shoot out footage is a valuable thing, especially when you want to be able to show people exactly what it is that you can do, to get, to be able to look at their face, to be able to look at it as they're looking at it, see the look on their face. Okay. When it comes to that moment, right. And they see, and their friends see it. All of their friends are there looking, and the looks on their faces, and just it's special. It's absolutely special.
And it's really good when you've got that face can go from special to sour real quick.
Right. Because not everybody's gonna like everything.
I'm trying to think who you were talking about the other day on the show. Is it Big Jake?
Yes.
I'm sure their faces go from pleasure to PO'd real quick.
Well, we've had issue, and unfortunately he still has not reached out. I don't know that he's and again, I don't want to say anything defaming or I'm only stating facts.
Right.
But I'm gonna leave that be.
And that's like I say though. If you put your time and effort into it and you know what you're doing, yeah, you can definitely make people very happy, especially with something like a wedding. And a wedding is it's very interesting to me that people, it's this great day, and you want to do everything possible for that great day. They spend so much money on that day alone. It's like, man, go to Aruba for 2 weeks. Don't spend all this money, but at the same time, you want to make a little money off of them too. But my whole thing is I put it in perspective, especially when it comes to pricing. So one of the big things I always look for is affordability. What would I want to pay for that? What would I be willing to pay for that? And anything beyond that, I mean, is just extra. You know, you shoot an hour worth of video, you go home, and you take that hour, say it's the wedding ceremony itself, you take that hour home, you edit it, and you spit it out. You know, there's, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours work. Right. And, when you end up charging somebody $300 or $400 for something like that off of a single camera shoot, I've seen people charge up to $1,000 for stuff like that, $2,000, just because they know that either maybe that person has money, right, and they're just looking to make bank. So do some looking around. State what your budget is, and use that budget.
I think that's the biggest thing is stating what your budget is.
A lot of people are afraid to state their budget up front, and the reason, I take that back. There are the people that have absolutely no problem with it, and in fact almost demand of it. And then there are people that just will shy away from it, and they don't want to have that conversation.
Right. Well, if you state your budget up front, and you're going to this company, and you're like, look, this is what I've got to work with. There's always that fear of being shot down. It's like, oh, nope, can't help you. But the AV Lab, from what I understand, is willing to work with any budget. Yeah,
I mean, within reason, obviously. We're not going to come out and shoot your wedding and reception for $10 or $100,
right. No,
but
exactly.
Definitely within reason. You give me an idea of what you can spend, and I can give you an idea of what I can do for that money.
Right.
Whether it's because sometimes, like I say, if we want 2 or 3 cameras, you might have to rent one.
As long as something is done. Right. And you know what? I like that.
And that's, that's how business should be run sometimes, especially businesses similar to, like you're doing with the DJ company, like I'm doing with the AV Lab, where you're creating something. One of my best friends is a tattoo artist, and it's like, well, I've got about $300. Well, you're not going to end up with a back piece for $300, and if you do, you're not going to want it. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's an art, and you're not getting a 20-foot by 10-foot canvas painting for $100 unless it's going to be, painted black.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the song.
Sorry. I like that song.
Yeah, I do.
It's a good song. I like your rendition better.
I don't know about that. I just don't know. So, yeah, the absolutely awesome stuff. I want to thank you for joining us here in the studio today. And you know what? We are going to be coming right back. I'm going to pay some bills, as it were, the proverbial bills. Proverbial. Yes. Fro Shepperd, the man Fro, here in the house from the AV Lab, STL. Freeze and Krystol, we are holding down Tweaked Geeks. Phil is ill today.
I miss you, man.
Yeah, you are missed, brother. Hurry up and get better, because I don't know how long I can watch my mouth. We'll be right back.
Who likes saving money on a brand new automobile?
Me. I know me. Pick me.
Mindy Pluma at All-Star Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram can save you a ton of money this September. 20% off Chrysler 300s, Dodge Chargers, Dodge Journeys, Ram 1500s, and Jeep Cherokees. That could be up to $6,000 off. Call Mindy Pluma today at 314-288-5393. All-Star Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram at the intersection of Highway 70 and the St. Charles Rock Road. She'll treat you like an all-star, and she'll save you a ton of cash. Don't wait, or you might miss out on the savings. Call Mindy Pluma with All-Star Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram at 314-288-5393. 314-288-5393. That's 314-288-5393. Call her now.
I ain't got Freeze's radio voice. I definitely don't belong in front of a camera.
It is what it is. Just tell them what you do.
The AV Lab is an affordable media company that specializes in professional video and audio production. Do you need equipment or trained professionals for your next project? Well, we serve many people, including businesses, organizations, athletes, and musicians. With years of experience in the conference room and on the sidelines, the AV Lab can get you noticed and help you reach for your goals.
Will you finish this? Just give them the number.
Call the AV Lab today at 314-722-8522 and learn how we can help with your corporate videos, business conferences and events, highlight reels, and much, much more. Call 314-722-8522 today.
We'll be right back. This is Phil, and you're listening to the Average Joe Sports Report.
Actually, you're not listening to the Sports Report. That's going to be the replay, and that immediately follows Tweaked Geeks. See what happens when Phil gets sick? I don't know.
Gets messed up.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. And that's the illustrious music from the Average Joe Sports Report, which I will be streaming right after this show. Yes. Yes. Absolutely good stuff. Right here on Tweaked Geeks, here on the Zero G Network. And I am sitting here with the illustrious, the lovely Lady Jade Krystol, and of course, Fro Shepperd of the AV Lab. Now, I was just hearing the commercial, which by the way, you edited. You did that.
Yeah.
That was all you. And sounds better than my commercials. Again, jealous. But
he can help you out
okay.
there.
I know.
That's what he does, man.
I know.
Just saying.
Know. I'm still.
Stop being greedy.
I'm trying to figure out the division of labor. Is what I'm doing.
Lies.
That's my budget's small.
He's greedy. Just
like
greedy.
I said, we go by budgets. We look at budgets first.
He goes by
okay.
budgets, and he does some pro bono work.
Okay.
Pro bono.
That's a pro bono. Bono.
See,
I said bono. I said bono. Pro bono. Are you not pro bono?
Sonny?
Are you against bono?
I mean,
We're pro bono up in
trees
here.
are against bono.
Okay.
All
All right. So now that Crystal Brown screened, we're coming. So you were talking about athletes. You were talking about like the sports reels, highlight reels, things like that. Kind of walk me through that.
One thing most athletes need are tapes of their highlights,
Right.
to send off to colleges, to send off to YouTube, even for that matter.
Gotcha.
One of the things that I want to do more and more of is get out, shoot some games of players that need these highlight reels made,
Right.
and then edit them together for them so they have an end-of-season highlight reel package that they can then obviously take and promote themselves to colleges and other places so everybody can see what they can do on the field.
Right.
And these basically end up highlighting just that one player. So instead of being like game footage that the school may be shooting, if the school can actually afford to shoot it,
Right.
you're not
highlight footage.
You have that single player
Gotcha.
doing his one thing, whether it's a running back, a lineman, a volleyball player,
Nice.
basketball players,
Right.
and basketball. So I mean, we go out and shoot about 10 to 15 games during the season,
Right.
and then come back at the end of the year and put it all together and figure out an estimated time of the highlight reel.
Gotcha.
And then it's all based off of how long you want that highlight reel to be, which is probably going to be a 3 to 5 minute clip, because like any resume, you don't want to sit there and make an hour long video,
Right.
for somebody to watch 3 to 5 minutes of it at that next level.
Right. So, wow. So I mean, and again, this is stuff that you're wanting to do, and not only that, but you're wanting to educate others to do it to further the craft and further the art.
Definitely,
which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, especially when I talk about schools, I want to see more AV programs get put into schools,
right?
Because, like I say, it's so fun and entertaining to do as a production specialist that you don't even have to be in the game to be having a lot of fun with what's going on.
Right.
And it goes beyond the field too. I mean, chorus recitals, graduations, stuff like that. Schools need that equipment. They need to know how to run that equipment. Right. And then once you get in there, you show them what they need. You do the consultation. You get them their equipment, and you go to 3 or 4 times, show them how to do it. They have their own base of workers, of kids that would like to learn how to do it. They would like to run that equipment, and they'd like to move on to the next level, saying, here, I did this all through high school. I'd like to go to college and learn how to become a sports production major and a video production major, and maybe even get into newscasting and stuff like that.
Now, of all the different things that the AV Lab serves, of all the different things, be honest, what's your favorite thing to do?
Oh, I'm a sports head, man.
Okay, I got you. So now, which of the sports, which one really works for you?
Probably football. Football and basketball.
I got you.
When I went down to school in Arkansas after I got my associate's degree,
right,
and did my bachelor's degree down at Arkansas State, and I went down there to learn graphic communication, which is basically a glorified word for graphic design and all that good stuff. I went there, and one of my classes the first semester was video post-production. Right. So all it was editing, and we did reel-to-reel at the time, and we did straight non-linear editing, straight on the computers.
Now that's
Final Cut.
Now I hate to interrupt you. That's the second time I've heard that term, and I hate feeling ignorant. Would it describe the difference between linear and non-linear editing?
Again, linear editing is tape to tape. So,
okay.
If you're editing audio or video, either one, it can come on a tape, and in the old days, that's the only way it came. And you would have a machine that was set up, and you would mark your in point and your out point, and you would say, record it over to this other tape.
Gotcha.
So all this stuff we used to see on TV, these news packages, they started with maybe 17 different tapes.
Right.
And all of those 17 different tapes had to get put together into a 1-minute clip for the newscast.
Okay.
So they would take all those bits and pieces, put them into one tape, into one sequence, and that's called nonlinear. And now we're able to do all that on the computers themselves. I
got you. So now, so let me make sure I've got this right. Linear is basically where whatever piece one is, you have to stripe that from one tape to the other onto piece one, piece two, versus the computer interfaces and things like that we're more accustomed to working with, where it's a drag and drop, where things don't necessarily, like, you can edit the first 2 minutes of a project, then be in the second 2 minutes, and then decide, well, you know what, I want this clip here to go back into that first 2 minutes and edit that way.
Or like you're saying, you've got 5 minutes to fill.
Right.
You can do your 2 minutes at the beginning, you can do the minute at the end, and you can wait for that middle 2 minutes to come around, and maybe somebody else is working on it, and then you can just drop it right in there on the computer, and it makes for a lot more opportunity to work with other people.
Gotcha. Now, you're talking about these different projects and whatnot, and I tell you what, I've got one for you. It involves the fire department, so maybe we can talk about that here in a bit. I think that'd be awesome.
That'd be great. One of the things you talk about fire departments, other groups and organizations like that, people, anything. I would, like I said, I did documentary filmmaking as a grad student, and the reason I did that is because they say life is better than fiction,
Well,
and you know, these stories that come up, like the World War II veteran, the MMA fighter. To me, it's so much easier to, in a way, it's so much easier for me to shoot those because those stories are already written.
Right.
I don't have to sit at home and think up, 42 different, characters to put into a movie or a show or something like that.
Right.
So I've always enjoyed documentary filmmaking. And
now, would you be opposed to doing like a work of fiction?
No.
Per se?
No, there's some fun stuff I've thought of in the past to do, and
I feel it sounds like it comes from a dark place, but I'm gonna leave that there.
no, I mean,
Pitch black.
There's dark stuff. There's fun, dark humor, I would say, not dark stuff. But there's also stuff that I've come up with that's fiction based off of nonfiction.
Right.
You read really good books and you want to find a way to incorporate them. For instance, there's a great book I read a couple months ago. It was called Ghetto Side, and it was all about homicides in Los Angeles and cops in Los Angeles and how they handle it. And it deals with a lot of stereotypes of cops, and it deals a lot with stereotypes of minorities in low-income places, in particular Watts.
Right.
And I think it'd be really cool to take that story and kind of incorporate it into what's going on here in St. Louis, for instance.
Cool.
And
cool.
some of the stuff going on there. So,
nice.
You've got historical fiction, which is always pretty cool. I love movies, especially movies that take something true and fictionalize it a little bit.
Put a spin on it.
Yeah, a movie like Gangs of New York, for instance, where all those people existed, and the show Deadwood was another really good show, but it's all based off of true stuff with that, dramatization of Hollywood.
I'll be absolutely honest. I didn't know any of that was fictionalized at all. I did not.
Which one?
Or no, sorry, not fictionalized. I didn't know that any of it was actually real. The Gangs of New York.
Oh yeah.
Did not know.
Yeah, there was a William Cuddy and the Dead Rabbits and all these other gangs.
Holy snap.
And that's if you do more reading into it, it takes you into the mob of today. I mean, so it's all got a lineage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That did not know. Did not know.
In fact, on most of the Gangs of New York stuff, I believe that comes with a documentary that talks about the actual characters.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So okay. So at this point, I'm trying to what? That's okay. See, this is a tech show, so when you're talking to me about not being able to find a charger, I can't. I don't. It's right there on the little plug. It's right there.
The white one.
The white one. What about the white one?
Is it the white one?
No. It's plugged in. Just whatever cable leads to a charger. Wow. This is why this tech show exists. It is to help the masses and to be able to help people with their tech needs, like plugging their phone into the charger. Doing, and making sure that it is in fact charging. We're going to make sure that happens.
Yeah, one of my last jobs, to kill some time while Krystol plugs this in, one of my last jobs was at the Carbondale Library over in Illinois, and you guys are goofy.
Sure,
but yeah,
goofy. We'll go with that.
But I was working with kids on they have a thing called Project Next Generation, where they take middle school kids and try to teach them technology.
Right.
Sometimes it's us sitting around playing video games with kids. Other times it's us doing week-long events with them.
Nice.
So they were doing science stuff one day, and another day we actually did video work, and the library had me help them purchase some equipment for that week, some cameras.
Whoop.
And we're going to jam out a little.
No, apparently that's the timer. I decided I wasn't going to run myself late.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's our themes music.
All right.
That was and keep in mind this all happens while I was getting ready to try to call Phil. But it's okay. He's not well today and he was wanting to rest. So I'll let him rest. And when he wakes up and hears the show, and I did it for you, bruh. I did it for you. I did it. I even got his voice.
No, not at all.
No. I mean, I don't have his voice. I mean, like, I have his voice. Like,
It's not what you said.
yeah, see? Like, I have his voice.
Couldn't hear it,
It's his voice.
but I couldn't hear
We'll
it.
be right back. This is Phil, and you're listening to Tweaked Geeks.
Yeah,
See?
I didn't hear it before.
Yeah, and I did it right this time.
Good job.
I did it.
Round of applause.
Yes, thank you. You stop doing the donut thing. Want to give an extra special thank you to Fro Shepperd of the AV Lab. Thank you for
Thanks,
coming
man.
down.
Yes,
If
yes.
you need video done, in fact, you're going to be able to see some shining example of the work because you did a Riot show. You did the Is What It Is Riot radio show. So you're going to be seeing footage from that soon. So that's going to be awesome stuff. I like it. It's good stuff. Want to thank each and every one of you for listening. This is Tweaked Geeks. Phil, hurry up and get better.
Do it.
So you can get back here.
Do it.
And moderate me. I've been messing up all day, man. I need you. They can't hold me down. Because we're the Zero G Network. And nothing can do that. Nothing. Maybe I should restate that again. Okay, the Zero G Network, because nothing will hold us down. Thank you. Make sure you tune in to Tweaked Geeks every Sunday. Normally we're on at 2:30. Took me a bit to get it together today, but it's okay. We are still on. We are still here, and we will be back next week. Don't forget, right after this, the Average Joe Sports Report, the replay. And that's going to be featuring Iwi's own Andrew Grass. In the meantime, I am Freeze Smith. I am out. Thank you for listening.